So, hi everybody, it's one of our behind the shot videos, YouTube videos, giving you a little bit of an insight into what we were thinking about when we took a particular shot, one of our favorites. And leads to a question, doesn't it, which we often get asked, which is, apart from what was your most dangerous encounter with a big animal? And of course, invariably, it's when you make a mistake, when you mess up. The animals just want to be left to get on with their lives. Let's give them some respect. But the other very common picture, or rather very common question that people ask us is, do you have a favorite image? And the answer is no. When I think about Angie with our Lightroom library with perhaps 500,000–600,000 images dating back over the sort of 40 plus years that we've been photographing, you can imagine that there's plenty of images that we like. There's a handful of images that we are really give it the thumbs up and think that we couldn't really have done much better. But there's many images which are, well, amongst the library, as I say, there's a lot of dross, so I didn't, but there is, of course, and we just haven't got round to clearing up all the mess. But I think that's one of the features of photography and photographers, is keeping up with your workflow. And it's all on Angie's shoulders. She's the computer literate person, does all our processing and all of that kind of thing. And so when we think about our images, I think you can break them down into categories. There's images that we took where we were pleased because technically we achieved the effect that we wanted. We went beyond the obvious. We took a picture where we used all of our experience, all of our expertise, all of the latitude that the camera and the lenses could give us in a particular situation, and we had a plan. We'd thought ahead of time. What are we going to do? How are we going to achieve it? How are we going to create something which just doesn't state the obvious? Because, as Angie always says, you've got to have something to say. And that something has to be, it has to be stimulating. And so, back to favorite images. Technically, yes, we have some we're really proud of, but there are many which we love simply because they record moments where we have been in the presence, often of a big cat, because after all, we are the big cat people, and we have spent, since 1977, intermittently and with the help of our friends, watching the marsh pride and the various leopards and cheetahs that we've loved to watch. Now, amongst those shots of the big cats, we've selected some in this particular month. So it's a celebration of love. It's a celebration of family, the month of June. It's a particularly important month to us. It's our son's birthday. Our son and Tori, his fiancée, are getting married this month. Our grandson, Michael, our daughter's son, it's his birthday, 28th of June. And just, I think it's a good point when there is so much going on around us, so much disruption, so much worry and concern, so much psychological strain for people, to just hunker down to some of the certainties in life. And some of the images that we've chosen for this particular month to celebrate love and the family, and there's 10 or 11 of them in our open edition on our fine art gallery. And this particular month, 25% off the sale price of any of those 11 images. 1st of July goes back to the regular price. And we've themed them, we've given them names and titles, which doesn't just tell you which the particular animals were in the pictures. The characters, Zawadi, the leopard, Halftail's daughter, Honey and Toto, the cheetah mum and that little cub, Zawadi and Safi on the dawning of a new millennium. But we've also prompted a thought as to family values, as to the things that sustain you in difficult times. So there's a picture, and this isn't necessarily the favorite of the ones I want to talk about right now, but I actually better concentrate here. Let's make it the one for this behind the shot. And that is a picture of Zawadi and her daughter, Safi, who was only 3 or 4 months of age at that time. And she's sitting up. They're sitting up, the two of them, Safi and her mum, Zawadi, on Fig Tree Ridge, the most glorious piece of landscape leading up towards Leopard Gorge. If there was an architect for leopards, and they were going to construct the perfect leopard habitat. It would be Fig Tree Ridge and Leopard Gorge. These huge fig trees, these mountainous rocks, and then caves and crevices and bushes and thickets where a leopard could feel safe. And that's why it's always been so popular with leopards, and why Halftail and Zawadi both chose it as places to have their cubs. Now in this particular picture, Safi and Zawadi and Safi, they are sitting there, and in fact Zawadi had just seen some hyenas below the ridge. It was so safe for her up there, but she could see hyenas, so she was quite alert. Safi was sort of looking the other way, just relaxed, because she was in Mum's company. But it was just sort of one of those picture-perfect moments. We struggled to try and get the depth of field to sort of make the background to the picture out of focus, so as you could concentrate on these two beautiful leopards in this very special moment, because it was the dawning of a new millennium. It was January 1st, the year 2000. Our son David was with us. We sat there, having known that Zawadi had her cubs along Fig Tree Ridge. She had two cubs, Safi and a little male. The male didn't make it. He was confident. He was more aggressive than his sister, who was shyer, more retiring. And at some point, we're told, hyenas grabbed him when he was about 6 months old. So as much as it's great to be brave and courageous and adventurous, you've got to watch out, you've got to listen to the signs. And Safi did that and survived to adulthood. And so this was one of those pictures, and particularly I think for me, who in the early days when I came to the Mara, spent 6 years putting together The Leopard's Tale, which was reissued by Brat as a paperback in 2013, which updated the story that Angie and I had followed. And it took 6 years to produce that book in the 1970s and 1980s, because it was so difficult to see leopards. They were being poached, they were being hunted for their skins, and so those that survived were the shy ones. And so a leopard like Zawadi, and Zawadi means gift in Swahili, and we always thought of her as a gift, and her mother, Halftail, too. And so this picture not only celebrates a particular moment in life, like in this particular month, birthdays, weddings, celebrations of life, the month of June, love, those things that we can rely on, family. And so again, in this picture, Safi and her mum, it's that sense of the mother-daughter relationship, of the security of this full-grown adult leopard, Zawadi, and her daughter, who could be relaxed and playful on that particular morning because she felt confident that her mum was there, and that if there was danger, that mum would look after it. And so that's the story behind this particular picture. And I got my crib notes here, and I just want to remind myself, Zawadi and Safi, in Mother we trust. Isn't that a beautiful thought? And so in these pictures, remember, sale 25% off through the month of June, and 10% of the proceeds will go to the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, of which myself and Michaela Strachan presented Elephant Diaries back in 2005, 2006. So one of these pictures to help you celebrate a special time in this particular month, or any time of the year, a wedding, a birthday, Father's Day, on the 20th of June. There's another thing. So these stop for a moment in the hurly-burly of life, stop from all the anxieties and worries, and concentrate on the important things, families, friends, and remembering and celebrating specific moments in time. Some people just pass it off as, oh, come on, you know, Christmas, Easter, weddings, birthdays, Father's Days, Mother's Day. It's just sort of, you know, our material world. It's just a commercial gimmick. Well, it might be for some, but for us, it's a time to celebrate love and the family. So please go to our Thuramina Fine Art Gallery. Check out those pictures. They're all open edition prints. And as I say, this particular month, 25% off, 10% of the value of the proceeds going to the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. You couldn't do better than that. We'd love you to have one of those pictures on your wall. So stay well, stay safe. More from us shortly. Bye-bye.